The decision marked the latest stinging rejection on the issue for President Donald Trump and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. In July, the Republican-controlled Senate rejected 3 similar GOP measures, a failure that infuriated conservatives and prompted Trump to spend much of his summer tweeting insults at McConnell and other Republican senators for falling short. McConnell and other Republicans characterized the decision as a short-term setback. They needed to vote on the measure this week because procedural protections against a bill-killing Democratic filibuster expire Sunday, but they could revisit the issue in the future. "We haven't given up on changing the American health care system," McConnell, our Kentucky, told reporters. "We aren't going to be able to do it this week." But he made it clear that it was time for Republicans to turn away from trying to repeal President Barack Obama's health care. They've been promising to erase that law since its 2010 enactment but have never rallied behind a plan to replace it. "Where we go from here is tax reform," he said, citing the next big GOP goal. Rejection became all but inevitable on Monday after Maine GOP Senator Susan Collins announced she opposed the legislation. She joined Republican Senators John McCain of Arizona, Rand Paul of Kentucky and Texas Ted Cruz, who'd already said they opposed the measure. Cruz aides said he was seeking changes that would let him vote yes. Senator Lisa Murkowski, our Alaska, did not reveal a definitive position but said that while changes in Obama's law are needed, substance matters. Her state has extremely high health care costs, in part because of its many remote communities. Because of their narrow majority and unified Democratic opposition, Republicans could lose just 2 GOP votes and still push the legislation through the Senate. The retreat left the GOP's next steps on health care unclear, especially with a president who in recent weeks has reached out to congressional Democratic leaders on high-agenda items like the budget and immigration. Trump said in a meeting Tuesday with Republican and Democratic House members that he would work with Democrats on health care if the Republicans didn't get repeal done, according to Representative Richard Neal. Armas Neal quoted Trump as saying, "You get a better deal if it's bipartisan." Senators Lamar Alexander, R10, and Patty Murray, D. Wash, have been working on a bipartisan bill that would buttress Obama's law by continuing federal subsidies to insurers for lowering costs for lower-earning consumers. Trump has threatened to block those payments. Murray called the GOP bill the worst one yet, while House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi, D. California, hailed the defeat of this deadly bill. In choosing whether to hold the roll call, McConnell faced some Republicans arguing that lawmakers can't be seen as abandoning a pledge that Trump and countless GOP have run on. Others challenged the value of shining a fresh spotlight on their inability to pass the bill. Putting it out on the floor and forcing a lot of people to make a vote that maybe they don't want to make isn't the best, in my view, long-term pathway to success, Number 3 Senate Republican leader John Thune of South Dakota said before the vote. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office said millions of Americans would lose coverage under the bill and projected it would impose $1 trillion in Medicaid cuts through 2026. Associated Press congressional correspondent Erica Werner and writers Ken Thomas and Marcy Gordon contributed to this report.